Hey everybody, just doing the weekly check-in. I'm very tired today, hence I actually have the big thing of coffee. I'm really actually glad I found this. I used to actually make this when I would go to work at the last place I worked retail, which was the NEX. I worked in the children's department. I learned a lot there actually, and I started really getting back into that was actually around the time I was like developing some of the books that I was writing. Um, had a lot of insight that I was learning about like child development, and some of that led into developing some of the nuances that go into some of the character arcs that I write, especially when it comes to early childhood, and how it shapes the characters into who they are. Um, Also, I mean, what guy isn't over here like, hey, if whenever I have a kid, I want to make sure I do it right, right? So, yeah, I really enjoyed working there. A lot of people that I met, I will never forget the friendships that I made there. But like most retail ones, like you go into another job and then you don't see each other, and then things fall through. Um, But yeah, no, never gonna forget Oceana NEX. Yeah, but back to why I'm very tired. Normally, my mid weekend is Tuesday and Wednesday. However, um, at my day job at the escape room, we actually got a special request from a mom who was like, "Hey, I've got teenagers that are going to be off school, and I really need to give them an activity. Is there any way I can convince I could like you could consider opening just to do this booking?" And my boss was like, "You know what? I've been debating offering like special like bookings for when we're closed." And originally she was going to run it, but then there was a last minute scheduling confliction with both of my bosses, because we're a mother and daughter owned business, and they were like, "Crap, the rescheduling was moved to yesterday," and they're like, "Crap, I can't not have this booking go through because this is a special booking." And she's like, "Is there any way you can do this?" And I was like, "I'm assistant manager. I got you." However, my blood pressure has been spiking like crazy because we've been hustling trying to get Finding Frosty open. We're aiming to have him open maybe tomorrow evening. So Frosty will be back in town. I'm really excited. People are already like, "Hey, yeah, new room." Um, but I'm excited because apparently we're getting some new puzzles that weren't in it last year. So I get to learn these puzzles before I can run the room. It's one of my favorite things about my job is that like not only do I get to build new rooms, kind of like when I was in theater, but the props and things like that. Like I can see like how they're made and things like that, and I've always been fascinated with that kind of stuff. So that being said, I worked yesterday. Got 4 hours in yesterday, um, in the morning no less. Like it was like late morning into the early afternoon. So I kind of threw off my usual schedule because normally I after I feed Archie in the morning, um, I go back to sleep because I'm tired because I'm a night owl and my brain will not shut off before midnight. And unfortunately, Mrs. Winchester does not anymore unless she's engaged, unless she's like mentally engaged with something. Um, yeah, she'll just crash. I don't even blame her for it. We've been going through a lot. So, uh, yeah, I didn't get to take my like morning nap, I guess. I was very tired, and my throat has been like kind of tight because when your blood pressure spikes, it tends to tighten the blood vessels in your neck, which can constrict on your throat and your voice and things like that. So I was like, I was really hoping I could start working on Hearth of a Writer recordings, but it just worked out. Tuesdays are usually my recording day for recorded content like audio, um, and then Wednesday I'll like clean it up and then get it scheduled to post when it's gonna post. So yeah, I was working, so that didn't work out, which is kind of a bummer because I'm really trying to get the subscription tier up. Um, for subscribers on my Substack, you'll probably have noticed that a post went up today at noon, where I'm showing previews of things that I'm going to be offering for subscription tiers. Um, the artists that I've been collaborating with for Legacy of the Soul Order and Thicker Than Blood, they send me line art to approve. And honestly, I'm a sucker for line art. I really like it because it doesn't give you all the fine details, but you get a preview of what is going on in the action. So I took a little snippet from the middle of the line art to give you a little square preview of the first pages of the two comics to give people an idea of like what's coming. Um, and what I'm thinking about doing is offering up these teaser previews of what the comics will look like, and then for the paying subscribers, you actually will get to read the full color page when it goes up. Now, one of the reasons that I haven't launched yet is that the artists, I've been trying to get some consistency with them, but as of right now, it's kind of been all over the place because it's the very beginning and we're trying to fine tune some details, um, which, if I'm being perfectly honest, yeah, they just want me to tell them, but all I'm doing is cutting and pasting straight from what the book said. So you could just read the chapter I sent you, but here we are. They want it bullet pointed. Um, and once that's like more consistent, what I'm aiming for is either a weekly or a bi-weekly update of color pages. It just depends on how regular they come through. Now, it's like not cheap to get full color pages of graphic novel pages. So the paying tier is what's going to help me pay for it. So, um, if you can see it on your whenever you go to my page or whatever, there's an option that shows a pledge to subscribe or whatever, or pledge your support. It's supposed to give me a gauge of who would be willing to pay, like as a subscriber. I really need a count on this because I've I'm pretty sure I'm about to drain a lot of my money this month to pay them because I pay them twice a month. They get like 2 weeks to work on the pages because, like I said, they're full color. Um, and so yeah, they I've been paying them like every other week, and I the money that I'd been saving up from my coffee page and from audio mazes, that money is about gone. So I really need people to show me how many people would be willing to um, support paying for that stuff. However, some of it's not just going to be for the comic stuff. This is just the beginning. Like I'm really going to start like sharing my collaborative transmedia stuff here on Substack. That's really where I want to make the hub. However, that also means that Hearth of Writer reading podcast, along with the author roast, which those will always be free, but Hearth of a Writer will be for paying subscribers as well. You get the whole season of the book I'm reading, which we're doing Legacy of the Solar Order, which is getting a graphic adaptation. So you get two forms of that. Isn't that cool? So if you could go ahead and like let me know how many of you are interested in supporting that. And then now that I've reached the end of my time, I'm probably going to finish drinking my coffee. Until next time, be kind to yourself and to others as we're all driving on the same path in life, just different vehicles and speeds. And of course, happy reading and listening, adventurers.